And as soon as Coma and I come back in, snap east, bogeys, blah, 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 bullseye, Pepsi 130, 80 miles. And I mean, I'm like, here we go again. So since we'd already been over there, now we're much more familiar with what I'm looking for over in that area, because we're basically pushing over towards Kuwait. So we start driving east and we're hammering down, and we see every now and then see a hit, but they are basically right in the beam to us at 80, 90 miles. Very, they're holding the beam. So AWACS is giving us the call outs, and we're hammered down. No mode fours, no friendly. We've gone through the ID matrix. We go over Al Assad, and now starting to get some hits, and I'm using EWWS. I can see them with EWWS. And I'm like, okay. So it was like, hey, obviously they're going to, I'm just thinking they're going to Baghdad. So we took a cutoff vector and we start driving north. And as we come out there, and now I'm locking and Coma is locked, and their altitude, they're at about 5,000 feet. They're doing about 350, nothing fast, but they come across there. When we lock them up, they turn out towards Iran. I mean, they turn northeast. So break lock. And now we go back to sweeping, because there had been a ETAT report that the Navy had put out, and it was one of their tactics. They're going to try to, this is, like I said, how the Gomers train and watch what they do, that they were going to try to do a big pincer and drag everybody out to get you chasing them down. And then these guys are going to sweep you. And so, I mean, that's in the back of my mind, because they've got, 7 airfields down here. And even though we've been hammering them, who's to say they're not going to fly? So these guys come out and they turn tail on. So as soon as they turn tail to us, I'm so like, look low. Something's coming out of here. There's going to be something around us. So we go back to our search areas. I search, I'm looking 22 and below, and he's looking 20 and up. So Coma's searching high, I'm searching low, and keep checking with AWACS. Of course, if they can see it, that's great. But bad poop is worse than no poop. But they had pretty good. Let's just say they had pretty good vision at that point. Their altitudes were terrible. They couldn't always, their altitude were plus or minus 20,000 feet, but at least they get you looking in the right direction. So we're back to that. Well, but we're still seeing these contacts, and we're about 20 miles in trail with them. And all of a sudden, if the picture breaks, they start to pitch back. So again, now we see a little bit of a lead trail that they're actually pitching back. And then after a couple of hits, AWACS comes back, said they're headed northwest. And so again, now I'm concerned, because we're right over the top of Al Assad. I said, tell me when we cleared Al Assad, just so I really want to start ramping down, because they're so much lower. And it's clearing 1 million. And I mean, it's 10:55 in the morning, 10:45, sun's high to the south. I've got Coma. He's at 32,000. He's up to my left side. I'm at 30, and we're about 2.5 miles apart. So it's like, all right, we're not going to let these guys get away from us. That's what I'm thinking in my mind. So as we start chasing down, now we're ramping down. We're supersonic, probably about 1.1. I'm not one of those. I'm not going to go 1.6 and waste everything out there. It's like, but we want to be just over, especially for employment, long range, distant. The missiles are already supersonic. They can take care of the rest of it. So again, they're only doing about 350, and they're still at 5,000. But now, as they pitch back in, they've descended to about 500. I mean, they're definitely low, and we're closing in. So we're closing from 20. We're into about 10 miles, and with the AIM-7 WES, the weapons in engagement zone, and we're fast and high, that gives the AIM-7 a long range shot. But a tail shot with the AIM-7 is never something to really trust. Let's just say it's very in training, it's very forgiving. In reality, the missile ain't going to get there. And so Coma says, we have different ranges: R2, R turn and run. R1 means the missile might get there and tap on him. R2 means it might get there and dent his airplane. And R turn and run, it ought to smack him and kill him. And so I'm a little bit out in front of Coma. He's hanging. I mean, he's doing a great job hanging on. He's out there again. He only has about 150 hours, and the 50 of it is just out there drilling holes in Iraq. So as we start ramping down, we can see it, and I'm locked to him, and I'm about 6 miles in trail, and I'm trying to get to R turn and run, because if I shoot an AIM-7, I want this guy to go out. So as continue ramping down, I'm through about 16,000 and I hit RTR. We've already gone through the ID matrix. Now the difference is they've been declared bandits. They're not friendlies. They're positive hostile. And AWACS is talking, and I can hear AWACS talking, but they can't hear us because our radios are set, the antennas are set for mostly forward. So that was one of the LIMFACs we figured out, that when we're talking, they're 150 miles south of me, they could not hear what we were saying. But we're here, and we're replying to them. Everybody else can hear us that's out there. And of course, when we got on this vector, everybody was in. I mean, all the Langley guys everybody's there. It's like, hey, I got it. And they go, no, OPEC, OPEC, you got it. And then everybody came up in the, they're like, go get them. I mean, we're all team players at that point. And Jiffy Jeff, because they were headed to the tanker, he's like, hey, do you guys need any help? And I go, nah, we're good. I mean, I'm thinking there's two of them. Coma and I got it, just go get gas. Who knows what else is coming. So, we continue descending, take my shot, and I mean, aim 7, it pulls lead, it goes out, and it is a 90-degree vertical, and this guy's down at about 100 feet. Now, again, I've got the TD container. The TD square is a target designator. I can see where he should be, but all I can see of him is the shadow, because they're desert tan. And for some reason in my mind, we were still looking for green. I was still looking for green. For green floggers. I don't, that was one of those things. Maybe Intel said it, maybe they didn't. We never saw a picture, but again, that was bad on my part. But it was like, I can't see the jet, but I can see his shadow. So I'm watching the shadow, and then the missile, I can see my missile fly out, because I think the shot was at 5.5 or something. It was just inside 6 miles. But I mean, 90-degree impact, big explosion. And then I'm watching, and the TD, my radar's still locked, and he's flying out of it. He's in a gentle left-hand turn. And I'm like, now we have A kill and K kill. So an A kill is, K kill, it's dead. A kill is percentage of, who knows, that maybe all the parts are flying together in the same direction, facing the part. Maybe you sliced a hydraulic line. It's going to take him, it could be 5 minutes before that airplane blows up. But in this case, our closure, we've got 300 knots of closure. So we're, I've gone from 6 miles to 3 miles. Coma at this point is still, he's still up about 16,000 coming down, and he had taken a shot. So I see his missile flying out. And what we basically had an echelon where they had turned to the northeast. They make this left-hand turn back towards Baghdad. So when they did, who knows who's leading, but there's 2 jets that are out front, 2 jets that are back behind, but for us, it's an azimuth sort. So we're going to sort it side, and the azimuth is closer to me, even though they're going away from us. I'm basically targeting the trailers. He's got the leader. So he's got to close a little further to get his shot. So he takes a shot, and the missile flies out. He loses the missile in that, it burns out. He never sees anything happen. So now, because he is so high and we're closing, these guys are like disappearing below his nose. He rolls over and does a split S, gets his nose down, reacquires them. And now, because we're above 660, you're supposed to make sure you have positive G on the jet. Now, this is for a guy with 150 hours. I mean, I wouldn't have even, to be honest, it's like it's not even in my wheelhouse at that point. How many times have we done it? Like almost none. And he pulls some G. I got to pull some G. So he pulls some G on the jet. And he shoots. He said, well, you taught me if I shoot 1 and that doesn't work, shoot 2. So he hammers down 2 shots. And so first missile comes off, second missile. Now, see, I'm watching that this is coming out left. Now I'm still chasing the guy out in front of me. And as he starts his turn, I continue to close. So I thumb back to aim 9. It's 11 o'clock in the morning on a hot desert background, whatever, screaming aim 9 mic tone. It's good. I'm inside 2.5 miles. I uncork it. And this one, aim 9s usually are more direct, but it came off high, and I mean, I'm at about 3,000 feet now. Missile comes off high, and then right into him. And this time, the whole jet vaporizes. So that one's gone. So I'm like, splash 1, and about that time, here comes the Coma's missile, and I see the fireball to the left of me, and he's splash 2, and he says tally 2, and then he says splash 2, splash the second. But when he said tally 2, I'm thinking, Okay, I've got that one. And so I look out and I'm down about 500 feet now, and I pick up the fourth jet who is flown. This guy's come left. So I pick up him on the horizon. I'm like engaged, and his second missile, his tally two, was inside his TD container because the F1 and the MiG-23 were flying fingertip formation. So they're doing the Iraqi Thunderbirds. So as the first one blew up, the radar transferred lock. Second aim 7 takes out the second guy.
Wow.
So bam, bam. So he's got the second and third kill. And at this point, the guy that I'm chasing, I'm trying to pull lead on. I want to gun him. I'm sorry, I'm a weapons officer. Gun kill. It's just that's what we live for. So he's in this, left-hand turn. It's a MiG-23. So he's state of Texas size, but he's only doing 350, and the wings are out. So as he starts his turn coming around, I start lining up, and that 2-degree gun cant is what's going to bite me because he's at about 50 feet, and I'm at 300 feet, and I'm trying to pull lead, but I'm looking. We've got the little rolling hills. I'm like, I'm not going to impact the hill, just trying to gun this guy, but I'm still trying to get some lead on him. So finally, I'm like, it's not going to work. And for whatever reason, he reverses right there. And as he was coming left, I had Coma break right because I don't know if he's trying to engage or whatever. Coma's about 8,000, 9,000 feet away from him, but he's up about 6,000 or 7,000 feet. So I said, break right. He breaks right over the top, and this guy reverses. And when he reversed, I'm dead six on him at 6,000 feet. My radar wouldn't lock, but I'm an uncaged aim 9 right up the tailpipe. I mean, it's just, he's gone. And come right, and Coma's right over top of me. And the Salmon Pack East was the site, and that was an SA-2 SAM site. And up to this point, we can see Baghdad. I mean, I can see the buildings in the distance. And because obviously there's nothing out there. And of course, with the sun's bearing down straight on them. But as soon as the fourth guy blew up, our RWR lights up SA2, SA2, SA2. Now we're way below, we're about 13 miles from him, and I'm at 300 feet. He's at 6,000. But like, I don't care. Let's get out. So, 120 heading. We go southeast, dead away from him. Coma stays right over the top. He waits to pickle his bags. Because I'm like combat jet, which means get rid of your fuel tanks. So I blow mine off. And he said, I didn't want to let him go till I could see. I go, we're doing 500 knots. They're going to be behind us. I didn't say that's what we debriefed. I go, you're doing 500 knots. You could be right over top of me. They're not going to hit me. But he had good SA, great SA. And so he waits till he can see me get off. He gets a little bit to the side. He gets rid of his tanks. We run south. We start climbing up. Well, now we're talking to AWACS. And they're like, status. I'm like, splash 4. And I'm like, well, didn't you just listen to everything we said? Well, they couldn't hear all of the engaged talk. So they just kept basically broadcasting in big picture type stuff, which is good, what they should do. So we turn south, and I'm like, we need fuel. As we start climbing out, well, they go tanker. He gives me a vector of the tanker. Well, that's the tanker driver had been he's listening to the fight. And so he's already 50 miles north of the border. So he picks us up. By the time, we're running south pretty quick, but we pick him up he's 100 miles north of the border. Man, we do a combat turn. He just basically wheels around. We jump on. We're doing all the thumbs up and yeah. And he goes, "Did you get him?" Because we're supposedly calm out.
If you enjoyed this clip and want more, you can go to 10percenttrue.com, hit subscribe, and get early ad-free access to all my content. Appreciate your support.